focusing on our Newman Lake project. Sorry. Today I'm going to be purely focusing on our Newman Lake project. This acquisition we acquired just earlier this month and we're pretty excited by it. It's located in the Athabasca Basin in Canada, which probably really needs no introduction after a lot of the presentations yesterday and today. Quick corporate snapshot, our ASX code is REC. We have near on 140 million shares on issue, a market cap of 8.5 million and cash in bank at 2.6 million. Both Simon and myself are here today. We're at booth 4, so if you want to, come by and have a chat to us later. And our share structure, you can see from that, is a really tight share structure. Our top 20 hold near on 45% of our company. And we have a major shareholder in DG Resource Management. DG Resource Management is headed up by Jody DeRouge from Canada, and he has been instrumental in us entering into the Canadian exploration space, and in particular also into the Newman Lake project. So he became one of our major shareholders last year when we entered into the Canadian space through the acquisition of our Express Lithium project, which is located in James Bay in Quebec. And earlier this year, I suppose over the last year, we've really built on the rapport that we have with DG Resource Management, Jody DeRouge, and also the DeRouge Geological Consulting Team, which does all of our in-country geological fieldwork. And this building up of rapport has enabled us to really make sure that we're really well aligned with them, and it's provided this strong pipeline of projects coming through, Newman Lake being one of those. So that was also vendored earlier this month through by Jody. He was a 50% vendor. And also really key to Recharge is our supportive brokers, Pamplona Capital, who are here today. And just I'll give you a little bit of background on Jody because it is key to the story and key to why we are here. Jody DeRouge has had a really long, successful history in uranium exploration. He's been working in the Athabasca Basin since the 1990s. He was previous president and COO of Fission Energy and played a really key role in the acquisition of several of their key projects, including Waterbury Lake, Patterson Lake and Patterson Lake South. And there's been some really key discoveries come out of those areas, including the J Zone and the Triple R deposit. So Athabasca Basin, why are we here? As mentioned, I think there's been plenty of presentations yesterday and today, so you're all probably really well versed about the potential of the area. It's home to some of the largest and highest grade uranium deposits. Canada is no stranger to uranium mining. There's been over 60 years of uranium mining history. At the moment, they produce over 15% of the world's uranium. And why are we here? It's primarily because of the grade. The average grade is 2%, which is 10 to 20 times the uranium grade average in the world. And I suppose really key to note is that back when this project was first explored, the main model that people were working on was the unconformity model, and that was what this project had previously been looked at. There's been lots of discoveries and uranium exploration in the area has come along in leaps and bounds since then, with now there's a real focus on basement hosted mineralisation, and that's predominantly what our project we believe is really prospective for and what I'll be focusing on. Okay, so why do we like Newman Lake? So we're located on the northeastern edge of the Athabasca Basin. It covers approximately 16 square kilometres. We're only 56 kilometres away from IsoEnergy's Hurricane deposit, super high grade deposit of 34% with a really high grade core of about 56%. As you can see, this is quite an advanced project. It has been drilled before, but all of this drilling bar 2 holes were completed in the 1970s and 1980s, as mentioned, purely focused on this unconformity style mineralisation. So what this means is that all the drilling essentially drilled down, intersected the unconformity and then pretty much stopped. So it barely touched any of the basement style. It pretty much went through the unconformity, 20 metres later, stopped. So regardless of the fact if it was still in uranium mineralisation or if it was still in alteration. It's a really complex geology, which we like, And there's this really large, wide, conductive trend zone heading east-west, which is outlined in the red along the map there. You can see all the green and brown lines. They're all the EM conductors that have been defined from ground and air work. And important to note that even in this drilling that was completed actually by one of Cameco's predecessors, that there was some anomalous uranium in those unconformity up to 0.27%, which is not to be sniffed at all. Another really, I suppose one of the real draw cards that brought us into this is what do we think it could be? And you can see this low resistivity anomaly in there, and that we think has a lot of similarities to Arrow, which you can see on the other side. On there you've got the yellow wireframe, which is the low resistivity anomaly, with the red in the mineralisation. So our property sits along this strong east-west trending conductive zone within this zone of low resistivity, which I'll highlight on a cross-section in a moment. And so this conductor, all those drill holes have purely just been focused on the unconformity mineralisation. So here's the cross-section, and you can see that blue area is our target zone. That is our area of low resistivity. You can see all of those shallow drill holes lying along the top, all along there, and that's the unconformity marker there. So essentially all those drill holes pretty much intercepted the unconformity and then terminated. Bar, we have 2 holes that were drilled into this, one of this on these sections, which is the NL 118003, and these 2 holes were drilled when the modelling of the basement style mineralisation had come to the fore, when people started to understand what could lie beyond. These 2 drill holes were drilled by ALX Uranium Corp in 2018, and they were really successful holes. Here's some core from both of those. So both holes, the 2 holes, intersected really strong alteration. They intersected pitch blende, which is a uranium mineral, really structurally brecciated, really, really encouraging. 2018 pretty much coincided with when uranium was at about $20 a pound, and so thereby the project pretty much halted. Uranium exploration was no longer going to be the fore for them. So we kind of believe with those 2 holes, we feel like the exploration for basement-hosted mineralisation has only just begun. And just a quick one, I just want to point out the fact of how small the footprints are of these deposits. So on the right-hand side there, I'm showing the footprints of all these key deposits. And no, we do not have Cigar Lake, and we do not have Arrow, and we do not have MacArthur River on our tenement. Disclaimer down the bottom, but it's just really to show how these are a bit of a needle in a haystack, bit of game of battleship to try and find. But they are really small footprints, which is something to be really mindful of. So our work going forward, so we'll be on the ground shortly doing a ground gravity survey. This is to really hone us in on some drill targets, and we're working on permitting in the background with hoping to be drilling in the Canadian summer. So in closure, I mean, we are really excited by Newman Lake. We think it represents a great opportunity for recharge to make a really exciting uranium discovery. We have significant alteration identified in the basement rocks. We've got this strong, wide conductive trend zone. We've got this coincident low resistivity anomaly, and we've got historical drilling that has demonstrated that uranium is in the system, including by that 0.27% uranium. So what is our approach going to be? Our approach is going to be to drill the best targets. So this will be the strongest conductors, the redox boundaries, and through this drilling we will develop a geochemistry profile that will really allow us to vector in on these key areas. And we have one tremendous advantage, and that is the fact that the unconformity in this area only ranges between 100 to 120 metres deep, which is really shallow, so we've got limited overburden to drill through. We have a really strong in-country team with DG Resource Management and the Darouge Geological team, so they are invaluable for getting it done. And so just in closure, I mean, is there an ore body like Arrow here? We don't know, but we're intrigued enough that we're going to have a damn good look and find out.
Mm-hmm.